With us now, Clifford Young, Ipsos Public Affairs President, Wajahat Ali, editor of The Left Hook on Substack, I subscribe, so should you, and host of the Democracy-ish podcast. Is that the part of the Democratic Party that covered up for Joe Biden? Sorry, I couldn't.
You know what? Right now, the Democratic Party has its lowest favorability rating. So you and your viewers might appreciate that. I agree that right now the Democratic Party does not have leadership. So when you show that poll, right, it's AOC as 26% and nobody as 26%. Right now, the truth is, Leland, there's a vacancy in the Democratic Party. And I think leadership is up for grabs. And what the Democrats and actually most voters want is a fighter, someone who will fight for their freedom, for their rights, fight against the oligarchy. And that's why I think AOC right now has 26%. Look, 2028 is a long time away. But the leadership that they're imposing upon the people, the Chuck Schumers, the Nancy Pelosi's, those days are gone. And the leadership that they're saying, hey, you have to accept Jerry Connolly, rest in peace, or, you know, Debbie Dingle, who has so far not released any dingle bangers. Jasmine Crockett has, which is why you see Jasmine Crockett's face there. They're not being accepted by the people. Now, I would caution Republicans right now. I know they're gloating and they want AOC to be the face of the Democrats so they can malign her as like hardcore left. But an interesting poll that came out, and I'm sure you talked about, was a lot of Trump voters in 2024. You know who they also voted for, Leland? AOC. A lot of folks who voted for Bernie Sanders, people like Joe Rogan who voted for Donald Trump, they actually voted for Bernie.
Right, yeah, you know, there's the intersection of that. We used to call them during the 2016 primary season the unicorns, the Bernie Sanders supporters who were then going to vote for Donald Trump. Cliff, this brings up an interesting question. Is AOC right now the Donald Trump of 2015 of Republicans that Democrats love to hate because they thought it was great for them? Or is she Ron DeSantis?
Yeah, I would say that she's the darling at this point of the Democratic base. She has strong numbers. She polls well, not just in New York, but nationally as well. We have to understand there's a vacuum. There's a leadership vacuum, as already has been mentioned. This is normal after an election that you lose. You're kind of discombobulated for a while. You're disorganized for a while. But she has something that other candidates don't have at this point. She's really aligned with a broad agenda in America where Americans, whether they're Republican, Democrat, or independent, they believe the system is broken. She's aligned with that, as is Barry Sanders. What I would say is it's two sides of the same coin. You have Trump and MAGA on the one side that's hammering against the system, a broken system. They want to fix it. And you have Bernie and AOC on the other doing the same.
Okay, mirror images of each other. Therefore, the establishment hates her. Here's Joe Scarborough.
I don't think anybody that watches the show would confuse my politics with AOC's politics. And yet I sit here, fairly conservative independent, absolutely flummoxed by a Democratic Party that refuses to let her in leadership.
Okay, Joe Scarborough calling himself fairly conservative. We'll leave for a different conversation. But, Wajahat, I'm wondering if the Democratic Party keeping her out of leadership isn't the best thing that's happening to AOC.
That's a really good point. Right now, AOC and pretty much the faces that you showed are vying for a vacant leadership, as Clifford said, right? And the establishment not hugging AOC actually helps her credentials, because what AOC is running on, and I think the reason why a lot of people who voted for Trump in 2024 and also voted for AOC is because she's running on a populist anti-establishment message. Now, Donald Trump, if you recall, also said, I'm going to be a bulldozer. Right. I'm an outsider, even though he's a one percenter, lives in Mar-a-Lago, right? Lives in Trump Towers. He's part and parcel of the establishment, but nonetheless, he sold a populist message. AOC comes from the working class, right?
Explain this to us the difference here, Wajahat. I want to get you in here, though. The betting odds. Looked at the betting odds. Who will be the nominee? Kamala Harris, tied for second. Gavin Newsom, Josh Shapiro, tied for third. AOC, Pete Buttigieg, J.B. Pritzker. I won't make any jokes about why he may be in last place in a horse race. But what is the polling about face popularity picking up that the betting markets don't buy that she could be the nominee?
Precisely, but what you mentioned, right? The establishment, will they get behind her? I don't know. The establishment did not get behind Bernie Sanders. The establishment didn't get behind her 4 months ago, Leland, when she put her hat in the ring to be the head of the Oversight Committee. You know who the establishment got behind? Jerry Connolly, rest in peace. He was 73 years old at the time. He was diagnosed with cancer. He just passed away. And Nancy Pelosi from her hospital bed, rallied votes for Jerry Connolly. And you're sitting there thinking, Jerry Connolly or AOC? Who would you have be the head of oversight? The person with, I don't know, several million people on social media, or the dude who didn't know how to use his Zoom? That's a Democratic establishment, why they have the lowest favorability rating of the past 30 years.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.